In this video, we're going to talk about how to use a reference editor and why you should not import or open a character rig in Maya. Hey guys, so I want to give you just a simple workflow thing you want to incorporate when you start animating. You basically want to reference your rigs instead of importing them into Maya. It just makes it so that if there's ever any rig changes, it won't affect the animation that you laid down. Because if the rig does change, you basically lose everything if you're working in a production environment, and that's not good. So what we're going to do, I'm opening up the Max rig, and the Max rig, I will link it in the description box below. But you basically go to File, Reference Editor, or Create Reference, and then you just click on the Maya file that has a character rig in it, and then it'll enter into your scene. So I'm just going to speed up the clip here. I'm right now laying down some really simple key poses, and then I'll show you why the reference editor is so powerful. Basically, when you reference a character rig, you're taking all of the content within the character rig file and you're bringing it into a brand new Maya scene. So if you were to open the scene file and you're animating, let's say you've been animating for a week, and all of a sudden the character starts freaking out, like the geometry is blowing up, or you're missing something, like because you accidentally deleted a controller, you would either have to go back in time to older scene files or completely start over. However, when you reference a character rig, you can't necessarily change the geometry unless there are certain parameters that allow you to do so. But normally you can't. And you can't also delete any of the controllers on accident. So your character rigs will always be pretty much locked, and if there's ever a change in your character rig, you can just reload it or replace it. As long as the rig itself, is the same as the previous rig that you were working on, then everything should transfer over pretty seamlessly. Another cool thing about the reference editor too is if you're working on a scene and all of a sudden it gets really, really heavy because you have a lot of characters in it, you can pick and choose which characters should be within your scene file by toggling them off and on to reduce the amount of memory used within that scene file. Alright, I'm going to go hide the NURB curves and show you the poses that I made. So there's the happy pose, here's the angry, tough pose, and here's the pointing pose. Now, if you're working in an actual production and let's say this Max rig got changed and they updated him with newer features, you can go into the reference editor, right click on the rig, go to replace reference, and then choose the new character rig. And I made this one ahead of time for the purpose of this example. And once you bring him in, you can see that now he has a hat and an AK-47. If I just imported him into my scene file or used file open to bring him in, and I was animating, and then they updated the character rig, in theory you could transfer all of those character controllers onto the new character rig. However, you run into issues of skin weighting and maybe value changes within the newer rig that it might not transfer over well. This can also happen with referencing, however you have a lower chance of that causing any major issues within your animation file. So the key takeaway is to always use the reference editor before you start animating. That way if you ever need to modify your character, you can just do so within the character file, and then when you update your animation file, all the changes will be there and your animation won't get destroyed. And I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to show you again. If you want to go get rid of your character, you can just uncheck it in your reference editor and he'll go away. And then you can also recheck that box to bring him back, and it'll still keep all of your animation data. And if you just want to get rid of the character for good and lose all of your animation data, you can right-click and remove that reference. So I hope you learned something new from this video. Give this a like and subscribe to our channel. Every week, or every other week in this case, I'm going to be uploading new videos on just random Maya tips and tricks that I've learned throughout my career. So I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.